Hi, I'm Wayne Lack and I'm doing June 2013 AQA Core 3 paper. This is question 3. According to the examiner's report, a lot of people got the marks for this question. The majority of people got full marks. A few errors occurred, normally mathematical errors rather than understanding errors. This particular question, this type of question, comes up in nearly every paper, so it's vitally important that you can do these sorts of processes, but they're not hard marks. So let's go through question 3. Let's turn to the whiteboard. Okay, so you might not be able to read it very clearly, but it's A, B and there's a C, but C takes up quite a bit more room, so we're going to do that on another whiteboard. So 3a, the equation e to the minus x minus 2 plus root x equals 0 has a root alpha. Show it is in between 3 and 4. Now this question, like I said, comes up in nearly every paper. So how do you show that it lies in between 2 points? Well, it's the same thing every time. You evaluate it like a function for both the points. So we do f of 3 and then f of 4. And we know what we should find. If you've done enough past papers, you should find that it goes from negative to positive. So we just change all the x values for 3 and then all the x values for 4. So we get e to the minus 3 minus 2 plus root 3 equals, and then e to the minus 4 minus 2 plus root 4 equals, and if you type that into your calculator, you'll get the first one is equal to minus 0.218, and the other one is equal to positive, as we'd expect, 0.0183. So to finish it off and get the next mark, as always, we say change of sign, as it's changed from negative to positive. This implies, and then we put alpha in between the two values because it's somewhere between 3 and 4, so there's change of sign. And that's all the marks for that question, and it comes up all the time. So part B, use recurrence relation xn plus 1 equals 2 minus e to the minus xn squared with x1 equals 3.5 to find x2 and x3 to 3 decimal places. Okay, so again this question always comes up in this set of questions. So we've got x1 equals 3.5. Now what we do is we then put that 3.5 value in place of the xn. We'll get a new value for x, then we'll put that value in place of xn to get a new one, and you could keep going and eventually it would converge to a limit which would be the correct answer. But it wants x2, so to find x2 we put in 2 minus e to the minus, and it's 3.5, we're putting in the previous part, squared, and you'll find that that comes to 3.880, and then you do x3 is equal to, so now it's 2 minus e to the minus 3.880 rather than 3.5, we put this value in, squared, and you should find that that comes to 3.918. Now I said a few people tripped up with a few things. Let's have a look at what people tripped up on. This question was fine, the majority of students got that. Very few forgot to say change of sign implies this. That's the final marking point, really important. That's the only thing people forget. And in this one it says 3 decimal places, and some people forgot what that meant and put 3 significant figures. So just be sure to read the question if it specifies decimal places or significant figures. And those were the mistakes made there. So like I said, there's a part C. So as far as this is concerned, that was worth 2 marks, and this is worth 2 marks. So let's go on to the next whiteboard for part C. So here we go, it's part C. The diagram shows the graphs of y equals bracket 2 minus e to the minus x, close bracket, squared, and y equals x, and position x1. So obviously the straight line is going to be the y equals x, and this curved thing is going to be the other thing with the e to the minus x in it, and there's x1 marked on there. But the question doesn't really do much. It just says draw a cobweb or staircase diagram to show convergence and indicate positions of x1 and x2. Now this question is going to be tied in with the other questions if it comes up, but this particular part doesn't come up in every exam paper. If it does, you do something like this. It goes up straight vertically from x equals 1 until it hits a maximum line, then go across until it hits the other line. Then you go up again and do the same thing again. And in line with that one is going to be your x2, and in line with that one is going to be your x3, and if you did more it would keep going. And that's showing convergence because it's getting closer and closer to this point here. Now in your exam you would draw these as the solid lines going up and across here, and perhaps dotted lines down to there, or perhaps just to notify the x2 is in line with that point and the x3 is in line with that point. But you definitely need these. This is your staircase diagram, and there's the x2 and x3. And the only thing people tripped up on here is some people drew the staircase diagram and didn't write x2 or x3 in line with them. So they didn't mention the x2 and x3. And it says indicate the positions of x2 and x3, so it doesn't have to be perfectly accurate. And again, this was 2 marks, so altogether question 2 was out of 6. I think they were all quite easy 2 marks, and as the examiner's report said, nearly everyone got full marks. They come up in nearly every paper, so have a look through it. Hopefully this helped. Let's go on to question 4.